I'm Janelle Bloom, the author of Family Food and Weekend Feasts, and this is my Upside Down Berry Pavlova. Okay, so we start with 750 grams of fresh strawberries. We've taken off the green hull. We've washed them first. Always wash your strawberries before you take the green off so that you don't waterlog the strawberries. Then we cut them in half and into our baking dish, and the size of the baking dish is in the book. And then we're going to add 300 grams of frozen cherries and strawberries are such a great combination, so I'm using the cherries, but you can use raspberries or blueberries. As long as you've got about a kilo of fruit, this recipe is going to work really well for you. So you want to shake those together, just like that, and then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of regular white sugar, not the caster, you want the nice coarse sugar. You can use demerara or you can use raw sugar as well. But what this does is, when we toss the fruit in the coarse sugar helps to prevent the fruit from breaking down to a pulp. So it sweetens, of course, but it also stops it becoming pulpy, and that's really important because you want nice big chunks of fruit. What we do is just give this a little toss so you know that all the fruit is coated in a little bit of that sugar. And I just usually give it a bit of a shake. Hopefully a cherry falls off and you get to pick that up, but not this time, which is good. Okay, and now this goes into a really hot oven. It's about 230 degrees for about 5 minutes, and you don't want to overdo it at this stage because all we're doing is starting to warm the fruit. So we start with 4 egg whites that are separated. Remember to separate one at a time because you never know what's inside. Now the secret to a really good stiff meringue that isn't going to separate is a little pinch of cream of tartar. So you just dip your fingers in and a pinch, sprinkle that into the bowl. And then make sure everything's nice and clean, the beater goes on, and on high speed from start to finish, and we're looking for soft peaks. Okay, it didn't take too long. So just lift that off, and you just kind of got little peaks hanging. It's nice and kind of between soft and stiff peaks. Okay, so now it's time for the sugar, but I'm just going to get the fruit out. Just started to warm the fruit. There's no juice, so don't be concerned, that all happens at the next stage. So I'll just turn this oven down because we're looking at 130 degrees for part 2, and let's go on to the meringue. We're using caster sugar, 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar, and we add a spoonful of sugar, 1.5 spoons, on low speed, and then you can turn that speed up to beat it in. To turn it back down to low speed to add as we're adding the sugar, because we all know when it's on high speed and we throw that sugar in, the sugar comes tumbling out of the bowl, and it's really important to have the right quantity of sugar inside. So low speed, be patient, turn the speed up so it's well mixed through. Looking for nice, thick, stiff meringue, fingers crossed. If you weren't here, I'd stick my finger in it. Okay, so we just want to scrape all that out. Usually you take that beater off and give it to the kids to eat, but never mind. Okay, so now the next stage is to swirl a little bit of cocoa through. So you can see we've got this beautiful, thick, shiny, stiff meringue. Yeah. Okay, so a nice sieve, fine sieve, and 2 tablespoons of good quality dark cocoa. And we just want to sieve that through so that we haven't got any lumps of cocoa onto the meringue. Now if you don't like cocoa, don't have to add it. It just takes off a little bit of the sweetness and works so well with the berries. You can swirl through 2 tablespoons of roasted hazelnuts or almonds if you prefer. And all we want to do is just swirl these 2 together, okay? So just with a spatula, literally right down to the bottom, and it should be just 3 or 4 stirs. How many is that? That's 3. I'm going to give it 1 more. And you can see it's not completely incorporated, but that's what we're looking for here. So just make sure that all of that fruit's covered. You can just press that down the sides, but you still want these little bits of chunky meringue incorporated. Just makes it look so beautiful. Okay, make sure that that's all done. Looks good already, doesn't it? Okay, now this goes into the oven, 130 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. And what happens is you get all this crunchy meringue, and then you get a little bit of the juice starting to incorporate underneath. So pop that in. Okay, well that's been in the oven for 20 minutes now, and the room is full of chocolate smell. It's just beautiful. Okay, so let that stand for probably a couple of minutes just to let the juices settle before you spoon it out. But we don't have time, so I'm just going to dig in. And a nice large spoon is the best way. And just get a nice large spoon and dollop that out. And you can see all the beautiful juices that sugar and fruit have produced. You don't need cream, icing sugar, just a nice big bowl of that. It's absolutely delicious. Enjoy.